Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. This is Kim Greenhouse. I've invited Roberta Herzog, the author of the Akashic Records, Your Journey Through Time, and Ancient Wisdom Stories. So many of you had requested that I do another show with Roberta, and I'm very excited to have her back with us. She didn't really want me to say this, but she's the first female archbishop, and we're excited to talk to her. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Roberta Herzog to It's Rainmaking Time. Good morning.
Thank you, Kim.
Now that I said what you didn't want me to say, what is an archbishop? Explain it to us.
Well, an archbishop is above a bishop, and the title is granted only in a church that has apostolic succession, and that literally means back to Jesus. And our church does. It has 13 historic lines back to Jesus, and we have it all documented. And since our church is very matriarchal, there's never been a male archbishop primate in the past, but there's only females. And so since our church has apostolic succession, and I've been, anointed quite a long time ago, I mean, really, from a good, positive point of view and an accurate point of view. I've been a bishop and now an archbishop and archbishop primate for many years. I don't say that to many people because I feel that the person who has a lot of responsibility in their life has responsibility to teach the truth and not to say, oh, how wonderful you are, And so I really kind of downplay all of that. From my point of view, I'm just a little lady that reads the records. I'm nicely trained, and I love to give the truth. And it happens to come with a couple of titles, and that's how I kind of look at it.
We had a very positive response to the Book of Life, the segment that we did a few weeks ago. And in general, I wanted to invite you back. I wanted to talk a little bit about soulmates and souls that come together in life. I wanted to ask you if you could make a distinction for us so that we understand when you speak about something what the frame of reference is. What is the distinction between a soul and a spirit?
Okay. You've only asked about 1,000 questions there. That's okay. That's good. Don't.
I was born in the right kind of family. We asked 1,000 questions in one question.
Don't change. We couldn't handle it if you changed.
You can call me the Rebbe anytime. Go ahead.
I'll call you the Rebbe. Okay. All right. A spirit is kind of like a slang word in some cases for a person who has gone over into the heaven world. And a spirit could be a demonic spirit. A spirit could be a heavenly spirit and or angelic force. A soulmate, I mean, it almost has little to do with what I've just said, because a lot of people say for me that, oh, he's my soulmate, she's my soulmate. No, it's hardly possible, because we only have one mate of our soul throughout all time space. We don't have a person over here, a person over there. We just don't. The true mate of our soul, or soulmate, is literally the other portion of our, what is called permanent atom, ATOM. And the permanent atom looks very, very much like the Chinese yin-yang symbol. And if it floats up in front of you with your two spiritual hands, you can pull it apart and put it back together again. And this is exactly what our soul looked like when it was whole. And God basically created all of us as a whole atom with a positive or masculine and negative feminine polarity. Feminine and masculine not being good and bad. And so all of you out there listening to this show are either the positive masculine or the negative feminine portion of your permanent atom, whatever the sexual orientation that you have. If you're a man, you could be a male portion of the permanent atom inside, in which case you would be male-male. If you are a female portion of the permanent atom and female vibrating on the outside, that would make you negative-negative. However, there are people who are positive male inside and feminine outside, as on with the body. And there are people who are the opposite. They are feminine on the inside and masculine on the outside. And we have to understand all this in order to learn the lessons of life. You have to be fully functional. As I said, I believe in the last time that we were having the happiness of being with one another, you have never been a gorilla. This is absurd what they're teaching with evolution. You have never been a tree. You've never been a giraffe or a reptile or an amoeba.
Why do so many of us believe it?
Well, because Darwin, came up with a theory, and Darwin's right, and all of this, what he isn't. He is not right. We are not, as a matter of fact, we are descendants from God, and truly the gorillas, the simian, the entire simian line of evolution, are descending from us, not from them, and that's from Atlantis, and I can go into that in a little bit when we might discuss Atlantis. But let me just finish with this one, because it's a whole new interesting something to look at. And, a lot of people now are realizing that evolution is not a truth. And we've been teaching it for many, many, many decades as truth, and it is not. I've never, by the way, in all the readings I've done, in thousands of readings, I have never seen a human being that is on the other end of the phone that has ever been anything less than a human being. I've never seen an orangutan out there. I've never seen a chimpanzee. I have never seen someone as a tree. This is absurd. All right, now that I've said my bit, I'll go forward. And so the soulmate is the other portion of your permanent atom. And God only allows maximum, now don't hold me to exactly this amount, but it's a little more or a little less, about 2,000 pairs of true soulmates to be on the earth at any point in time. And that means that there's for about 4,000 people, give or take, 20 or 30 people either way. And they are supposed to be together. They have a contract to be together. And they are together for the upliftment of humanity. And they work together as a unit, a pair of people, a unitary pair, to help humanity. Now, an example of soulmates, whether you like their philosophy of politics or not, it doesn't matter. It is Ronald and Nancy Reagan. I mean, everything he said, it's Nancy and I, Nancy and I. And they made quite an impact on the planet. And so they were permitted to be together, even though they were married before, but they found each other, and look what happened after he met Nancy. And so the soulmates work with one another, help with one another, and they do everything to keep each other going, but they are literally the other portion of their permanent atom.
When you say they come in by contract, can we just describe that?
All right. Just, for example, as you go to a lawyer, and you make a contract that this is what you're going to do, and the other person says, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and you sign on the dotted line. Now, most of the time we hope that you do what you're supposed to do, and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. But that's why we have a lawyer. So what I see, and I call myself, this is with tongue-in-cheek, of course, a karmic lawyer. I deal in contracts. And so in the heaven world, you like that one.
I love that. Say that again.
Love that. You're welcome. And so in the heaven world, when we make our contracts with souls, we make a contract with our birth mother, our birth father, our sisters, brothers, husbands, wives, children, teachers, friends, etc., that we're going to come in at a certain point in time, and we're going to do certain things for them. We're going to complete what it is we did not complete with them in a prior lifetime, and/or they're going to do the same with and for us. We make a contract. This is what you're going to do. This is what I'm going to do. The problem happens when we come into embodiment, and let's just say that I meet Henrietta over here,